At the beginning of the movie, we see Tinya and her family appearing very happy and recording a video blog. Suddenly, they hear a noise, and when Tinya goes to check, she discovers that a bird has crashed into their window. And as she opens the window to check, a crow flies into the house. Matthias tries to catch it, but the crow starts breaking things. It eventually lands on the chandelier, which soon comes crashing down. Finally, Tinya manages to catch the crow and asks her mother, "Should I take it outside?" Her mother instead instructs her to bring it to her. And as Tinya hands over the crow, she is shocked when her mother breaks its neck, killing it, and then tells her to throw it in the trash. With a heavy heart, Tinya throws the crow into the trash. However, as she walks away, its wing twitch. She then notices a girl playing with her dog, who introduces herself as Rita and tells Tinya that they just moved in. Tinya asks, "May I pet your dog?" And Rita agrees, but as Tinya touches it, the dog bites her. Rita apologizes, saying it's never bitten anyone before, but Tinya takes the blame. That evening, Tinya's mother shows her an edited video, announcing she'll showcase their ordinary Finnish family's lovely life. She praises Tinya, a talented gymnast, and expresses pride in her upcoming competition. Tinya then mentions that a new family has moved in next door, and that their daughter, Rita, has invited her over tomorrow. Her mother responds, "I thought you said you were going to focus on the competition," to which Tinya insists, "I am focusing on it." That night, while Tinya is trying to sleep, she hears the sound of a crow cawing outside. Curious, she goes out to investigate and discovers that the crow is no longer in the trash. Following the sound, she ventures into the woods and eventually finds the crow, half dead on the ground. She approaches it and gently says, "I will help you." However, as she tries to pick it up, the crow suddenly begins to flutter. After a moment of hesitation, Tinya decides to end its suffering. She picks up a nearby stone and repeatedly strikes the crow's head until it dies. After this, as she looks around, she notices an egg lying nearby, which she brings home with her and hides it in her room. Later, during practice, Tinya misses a flip and falls, to which her coach tells her that she's hesitating and needs to trust herself. Tinya apologizes, but the coach says she doesn't have to apologize. However, she can't let her compete if she can't perform the move. When Tinya returns home, she finds her mom kissing a man, and as they notice her, her mom quickly introduces him, saying, "This is Taro." As Taro leaves, Tinya's mom says, "Why don't you get out of your gymnastics clothes?" Later, her mom asks Tinya how practice went, and Tinya responds, "Really good." Her mom then tells her she has a surprise and shows her a dress, saying she has to shine in the competition. She goes on to explain that sometimes adults have special friends. And when Tinya asks about her dad, her mom says, "Dad is dad," and then asks if they can keep this between them. A few days later, Tinya's mom returns from her trip, and when her husband asks how the trip was, she replies, "It was lovely." Later, Tinya approaches her dad, and he asks, "Did your mother tell you about the trip?" To which Tinya replies, she said it was a really good blog seminar. Her dad then mentions that he bought a new guitar, to which Tinya responds, "It's nice," and he continues playing the guitar afterward. She then goes to check the egg and notices that its size has increased. She cuts open her teddy's stomach and hides the egg inside it. The next day, at practice, Tinya spots Rita, and they both get overjoyed to see each other. The coach tells Rita to go on, and she quickly complies, executing a perfect landing, to which the coach says that was perfect. Tinya's mom pushes her to keep practicing, despite her repeated failures, and after a while, blisters begin to form on her hands. Her mom insists, "Do it one more time," but the coach says she should lock up, to which Tinya's mom assures her they will take care of it. She then continues her practice and finally manages to make a perfect landing. That evening, Tinya places her hand on the egg and immediately feels something stirring inside. The egg begins to glow, revealing a creature within, and Tinya, overwhelmed, tries to calm it, saying, "I will take care of you." Meanwhile, we learn that Tinya's mother was once a gymnast herself, but had to quit her career due to a thigh injury. Later, Tinya's mother confesses to her that she is in love. She explains that for years, she has only given to others, believing that's what women are supposed to do. But meeting Taro changed everything. He is the best thing that has ever happened to her, and for the first time in her life, She truly loves someone. She then tells Tinya that she will be away next weekend as well. Saddened, Tinya cries in her room, and her tears fall onto the egg. After a moment, the shell absorbs the tears and begins to crack. Frightened, Tinya backs away, watching in horror as the creature struggles to emerge. And when its hand breaks through the shell, she stumbles off the bed and rushes to hide inside her wardrobe. From there, she watches the bird-like creature fully hatches, its eerie screech sending shivers down her spine. Trembling, she peeks out and sees that the creature is no longer on the bed, only for it to suddenly appear right in front of her. Just then, Tinya's dad calls out, "Everything okay?" The noise startles the creature, and it quickly bolts, leaping out of the window. Her dad enters the room and asks, "What happened?" To which Tinya, still shaken, replies, "A bird came in." As they clean the shards, her dad asks, "What kind of bird was it?" To which she says she don't know, but a really big one. That night, as Tinya sleeps, a scratching sound comes from the cardboard covering her window. Intrigued, she gets out of bed and cautiously approaches. And when she peeks outside, she gets scared seeing the bird-like creature there. The bird enters her room, making Tinya back away in terror. But instead of attacking, it extends its arm, revealing a shard of glass embedded in its flesh, as if pleading for help. Summoning her courage, Tinya quickly pulls the shard out, and she realizes it is just as scared as she is. After a moment, the creature gently takes her finger, places her hand on its head, and urges her to caress it. Tinya takes the creature to the bathroom and sits it in the bathtub. She then starts bathing it, and this marks the beginning of their bond. The creature, like a child, starts playing with the water, splashing around, but suddenly Mateus knocks on the door. Panicked, Tinya quickly gets up to stop him from entering, and he insists that he needs to pee, but she manages to shut the door and locks it. Next, we see the bird under Tinya's bed as she sings a lullaby for it, and as she softly hums, the creature slowly closes its eyes and drifts off to sleep. After a while, Rita's dog barks, disturbs Tinya's sleep, and the bird's eyes snap open in alertness. Next, we see the bird jump out of the window, and as it moves toward the neighbor's house, Tinya can see it in her dreams. Tinya suddenly wakes up, startled to find the bird sitting on her. It moves closer, opening its beak wide, causing its saliva falls on Tinya's face. It then uses its beak to direct her gaze to the side, and Tinya is horrified to see the dead dog beside her, causing her to vomit. The bird quickly jumps off the bed, and Tinya watches in disgust as it starts to eat the vomit on the floor. Later, Tinya digs a pit and buries the dog in it, but Mateus watches her doing so. Tinya is asleep with the bird beside her when the door suddenly opens, and her dad enters the room with Mateus, who immediately notices the smell. He tells Tinya that she didn't let Mateus use the bathroom last night, and Mateus calls her a shithead, but her dad tells him they aren't here to cause conflict. He then mentions that Mateus peed in his bed, and Tinya responds, "I'll change the sheets." Mateus then claims that Tinya went outside last night, and Tinya quickly grabs the bird's beak, denying it, and asks, "Was there anything else?" Her dad replies, "No," but then he notices blood on the bedsheet. He assumes that Tinya is on her period and takes Mateus away, not questioning it further. Later, Tinya goes to a pet shop to buy something for the bird to eat, when Rita suddenly asks if she has a bird, to which Tinya replies that they might get one. Rita then asks if she wants to walk home with her. Later, when Tinya is at home, Mateus brings Rosa's dead body and slams it onto the table. Shocked, his parents ask what it is, and he explains it's the neighbor's dog that Tinya buried, but they tell him to stop lying and go to his room. Enraged, he pushes Tinya, that wakes up the bird, and as Mateus storms toward his room, he gets frightened by a shadow in Tinya's room. Intrigued, he enters the room wearing his mask and hears a noise from under the bed, and as he lifts the blanket to check, he sees a hand, though not clearly. Mateus tries to look closely, but the bird suddenly reacts. Meanwhile, Tinya starts having seizures, and the bird moves toward Mateus. However, Tinya's mother brings her back to her senses, and Mateus sees the bird has vanished. As Mateus runs out, Tinya's mom checks under the bed, but finds only a towel and asks Tinya if she is okay. Tinya replies that she is fine, and when her mother asks about the smell, Tinya says it's from the dog. Her mother then moves toward the wardrobe and opens it, only to find that Tinya's dress is torn to shreds. She takes it out and asks, "What is this?" to which Tinya says she doesn't know, and it's only then that she notices the bird hiding in the wardrobe. As her mother begins to leave, Tinya quickly closes the wardrobe and asks her if she is angry with her, to which she responds, "I thought the competition was as important to you as it is to me." Later, Tinya is very angry at the bird, but still offers it food. However, the bird doesn't eat it. Frustrated, Tinya begins eating the food herself, and soon vomits it up, which the bird eagerly consumes with great relish. After this, she notices that the bird's feathers are becoming exactly like her hair, and only then does the bird say something. Shocked, Tinya asks, "Did you say Allie?" and decides to name it Allie. That night, as Tinya sleeps, we see Allie transforming into human form in the reflection of the mirror. After this, it enters Tinya's mother's room, where he touches her thigh, caressing it, and Tinya, trapped in a dream, witnesses this eerie scene. Allie then takes Tinya's mother's hand, and she wakes up abruptly, finding herself alone. However, she's startled to find a sticky substance on her hand and thigh, left behind by something mysterious. Confused and frightened, she gets out of bed, only to notice a feather on the floor, deepening her fear. Scared, she comes out of her room, holding a knife, when someone approaches her, and it's Matthias telling her that Tinya is a monster, but she tells him he had another nightmare. The next morning, Tinya dresses Allie, carefully adorning the creature and telling her, "You're beautiful." Later, at practice, Tinya's mother praises Rita and asks if she wants to compete. Rita confirms she's qualified, and Tinya's mother tells Tinya she must practice hard to beat her. That evening, Rita senses someone following her, but sees no one when she turns around. Meanwhile, Tinya tells her mother to turn back. We then see Allie following Rita, but she doesn't see anyone behind her. Growing uneasy, Rita quickens her pace, and Allie suddenly passes behind her, startling her into running. After a while, she stops, looking back to find no one, but then realizes someone is standing right behind her. She turns to face Allie in terror, and just then, Tinya has a seizure, but her mother quickly brings her back, reassuring her that everything is okay. She recalls her own pre-competition nerves and says, "Do you know the best way to get rid of stress?" When Tinya asks, "What?" she replies, "Winning the competition." Then, noting how stressful home is for Tinya, she suggests spending the weekend at Taro's. Later, when Tinya returns home, she finds that Allie is gone, leaving behind its beak in the wardrobe. The next morning, Tinya's mother asks if she has lost weight, noting that she's gotten rid of the last bits of baby fat. She then tells Tinya to get ready once she's done eating because they're going to Taro's house. After her mother leaves, Tinya looks at her dad, who tells her that Taro is a good man. Tinya's mother then brings her to Taro's house, where she introduces her to his daughter, Helmi. She tells Tinya that Taro is a widower and that Helmi's mother died during childbirth. Later that night, Tinya is sitting in her room, feeling very scared, when suddenly, she is startled by a noise and sees Allie on the window. She lets Allie in, and Tinya's mother's moaning echoes in the background. And Tinya tells Allie that everything is okay. The next morning, Taro tells Tinya's mother he doesn't want to show his house to the world, to which she assures him no one will know, and shows him that she cropped him out. She then gets a call and steps aside to take it. Taro encourages Tinya to eat, and she enjoys the food so much that she eats quickly. Taro asks if she likes it, to which she says yes, and accidentally spill a little. Taro tells her it's okay, and playfully tosses some food himself, making her smile. But just then, Tinya's mother receives a shocking news on the phone. Next, Tinya goes to see Rita in the hospital and is shocked by her condition. Saddened, she tries to touch her, but Rita suddenly grabs her arm and begins screaming, causing Tinya to flee in terror. On their way home, Tinya's mother says, "That's awful, especially with the competition coming up. But the most important thing is that you don't let this affect you." When Tinya returns home, she confronts Allie, asking, "Why did you do that?" She then approaches Allie and raises her hand to punish it, but instead, she begins slapping herself. Allie grabs her hand to stop her, and although Tinya insists on letting go, Allie calms her down by hugging her. Later, when Tinya wakes up, she is surprised to see that Allie's face is now complete, and she looks exactly like her. Tinya then goes to Taro, who gifts her uneven bar grips with her name written on them. Later, she shows her moves to Taro, but fails. While attempting an aerial cartwheel, he rushes to check on her, and she insists she can do better. but he reassures her that it doesn't matter. She asks, "What do you mean?" And Tiro asks, "Do you really like gymnastics?" She replies, "It's a good sport," to which he responds, "I guess it's important for your mother that you do well in it." He then helps her up and asks, "Do you want to see me do a cartwheel?" He attempts one but falls, making Tinya smile, but just then they hear a scream, and Tinya quickly says, "I'll go change." When Tiro enters the house, he hears someone coughing, and we see Tinya vomiting food for Ali into a bowl. Concerned, he knocks and asks if everything's okay, and Tinya, panicked, rushes to block the door, but Tiro pushes harder, demanding she open it. Despite her resistance, he forces the door open and freezes in horror. Mistaking Ali for Tinya, he asks, "Why don't I call your mother now?" But Ali suddenly lunges at him. Tinya slams the door shut, trapping Tiro's hand. He shouts for her to open it, and desperate, Tinya shoves Ali back, forcing the door shut. Later, when she comes out, he asks if she has anything to say, to which she responds, "I've already packed, and you'll never have to see me again." Tiro says no one is going anywhere now, and when she says he must think she's a horrible person, he reassures her, "You're not a horrible person." She apologizes, to which he approaches her, reassuring her that it's okay. He then says, "Maybe you've had too much to process lately, and they will talk about this with her mother," but she pleads, "Don't tell her anything," saying, "I'll do anything." He asks, "Was this because of the competition?" And just as she is about to answer, her mother enters and says, "Let's check your poses, and then we'll go." As Tiro is leaving, she asks, "What happened to your hand?" And he replies, "I had an accident in the workshop." Tiro watches as Tinya's mother scolds her, saying it's just a matter of focus. And just then, Helmi starts crying, prompting Tinya's mother to rush to check on her. Tinya watches as her mother showers Helmi with affection, and she doesn't like it at all. But then, she spots Ali at the window and becomes frightened. As they are leaving, she insists that Helmi has to come with them, but her mother dismisses her, saying they will be late for the competition. Tiro tells Tinya's mother that they need to talk, but she tells Tinya to say goodbye to Helmi before shutting the door. Later, Tiro puts Helmi to sleep in her room, and as he leaves for work, we see Ali standing on the stairs. Meanwhile, at the game, Tinya mutters, "Ali, don't." Ali enters Helmi's room with an axe, and Tinya sees it. And just as Ali raises her hand to attack Helmi, Tinya intentionally falls, causing her wrist to break. At that moment, Tiro approaches Helmi's room, and Ali jumps on the windowsill. She lets out a piercing scream, and then jumps out of the window. When Tinya and her mother arrive at Tiro's house, he stops them and asks, "Do you understand what your daughter has done?" She asks, "When?" And he replies, "A moment ago." She protests, saying they just came from the competition, and then asks if he's been drinking, to which Tiro snaps, "Go to hell." Shocked, she questions his tone, insisting they were at the competition. Tiro retorts, "I don't care where you were, but you're not coming here." He adds, "Your daughter has serious problems, and I want nothing to do with them." Tinya's mother tells her to wait, and follows Tiro to talk, while a frustrated Tinya screams, "Where are you?" Later, Tinya's mother comes out with all her stuff and gets into the car. And when Tinya tries to talk to her, she angrily bangs her head on the steering wheel and screams. She then stops and turns to Tinya, saying, "I wished you would at least let me be happy." They then return home, and Tinya sees Ali by the window. Frustrated, Tinya approaches her and tells her to go away. And when she opens the window, Ali tries to climb into the room, but Tinya accidentally pushes her out of the window. Ali gets up and screams. And it's only then that Tinya's father mistakes Ali for her and asks, "What are you doing there?" Meanwhile, Tinya goes to her mother and watches as she records a video for her vlog. She says, "We want to thank each one of you for your loving messages and support and for being so wonderful to us." She pauses, then starts again, saying, "I know I always say how lovely everything is, but an equally important part of our everyday lives is failing." Tinya calls out to her, and when her mother turns, Tinya says, "I can be better. I can do it." But her mother says, "You smell." Tinya's father follows Ali to Tinya's room and finds her sitting in the wardrobe. He attempts to speak with her, but ultimately decides to leave her alone. Later, while Tinya is taking a bath, her mother finds Ali in the wardrobe and asks, "What are you doing here?" She tells her, "Come, I need you." Noticing Ali's hair, she says, "It looks terrible," and starts combing it, asking, "How can you be so disgusting?" As she combs, the hair gets stuck, and when Tinya's mother pulls at it, Allie's skin tears off along with her hair. Furious, Allie glares up at her, and Tinya's mother gets horrified. Allie suddenly lunges at her, digging her nails into her back, and Tinya watches in horror as her mother struggles to free herself. Tinya rushes out, pulling Allie aside, and her mother watches in shock as Tinya and Allie stand side by side. Allie lunges at her again, but Tinya stops her, saying, "Go away. I don't want you." Allie screams as Tinya says nobody wants you, and then something begins happening to her. Allie then screams so hard that raptures the skin on her face, and then it runs away. Tinya's mother asks, "What was that?" To which she explains that I hatched it, and everything is its fault, and I just want it to go away. Tinya's mother explains to her father that there is someone here who looks like Tinya, but it's not Tinya. She adds, "Everything is its fault, but we will take care of it." She then goes to Tinya's room, searching for Allie, and opens the wardrobe, but doesn't find her there. However, as she turns, Allie suddenly clings to her, causing her to fall to the floor. Tinya's mother tries to reach the knife, but Allie stops her, pinning her to the ground. Allie then opens her mouth wide, and during this struggle, Tinya also arrives. Tinya's mother manages to grab the knife and stabs Allie, but Tinya feels the pain as well. Tinya's mother kicks Allie away and stands up, and as Tinya calls out to her, her mother says, "We got it." Tinya asks, "What are you going to do?" To which she responds, "Didn't you want to get rid of it?" Tinya answers, "Yes, but I hatched it," and her mother reassures her, "Everything will be okay." She then attacks Allie, but Tinya intervenes, getting stabbed instead. Shocked, her mother pulls the knife out, and as Tinya collapses to her knees, her mother cries, realizing her grave mistake, watching as her daughter dies in front of her. Allie holds Tinya's lifeless body and drinks her blood, and when Tinya's father and brother enter the room, Allie throws Tinya's body aside. Its skin begins to heal, and its eyes return to normal. She then gets up and tries to speak, and after some effort she says, "Mother." Tinya's mother, shocked, looks up at Allie, only to realize that Allie now looks exactly like Tinya, and the movie ends there. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the chills, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a scare. Until next time, stay spooky.